Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's exciting session. It's a wonderful Wednesday, and I can see quite a few of you who have started trickling in. Like I said, we have a wonderful session which is brought to you today by Michigan's Ross School of Business. For all those of you who are just tuning in into the session in the chat window, if you could let us know which city you're dialing in from. So I'm dialing in from Mumbai. I have folks who've dialed in here from the US of A. We really want to know where our audiences are coming in from today. So in the chat window, very quickly, which city are you dialing in from? Great. So we have people from Ghaziabad, Hyderabad, Mumbai. Oh, someone even from Muscat, Gurgaon, Ohio, Chandigarh. Wow, a lot of people from the length and breadth of India. This is fantastic. We also have some people coming in from Hong Kong, from Africa, and other parts of the world. Great. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, we have a very, very interesting masterclass today about AI and strategy. We are going to be talking about how AI is reshaping industries today. AI is no longer the future, guys. It is what is happening out there today as we speak. So, in this masterclass, of course, I'm not the master, but what you will gain is some practical understanding of how, as future leaders, you can harness AI for smarter decisions, innovations, sustainable impact, and so much more. And of course, along with this, there will be much more than the session covers. As I mentioned at the start of the session, today's masterclass is brought to you by the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business, which is one of the world's top business schools with a century long legacy and reputation for experiential learning, global impact, and strong leadership development. It has to be one of your top schools that you wish to apply to. And we are going to give you more information about the school as well. So, quick introduction to the panel. I'll start with myself. I'm going to be your host for today. My name is Sabahat Firzuk. I'm a Senior Associate Director at Seed Global Education. And we are a UK headquartered company which facilitates interactions between top global universities, like the one that we have here with us today, and prospective students like yourself, giving you a chance to understand, get a taste of the programs that are being offered. How is your classroom going to be like? And also connect you with faculty and the admissions representative people to help you make the right choices about your careers, about your higher education, and so much more. Joining me on the panel today is Dr. Chazar, who is the professor of strategy and chair of the strategy department at the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business. His research examines how decision structures influence key organizational outcomes such as innovation, financial performance, social impact. And of course, there's a lot more to his profile, which I'm sure he will go into detail when he wants to, when he starts with his presentation. But in the meantime, thank you so much, Professor, for taking out time from your schedule and joining us here today. Along with him, we also have Michelle Pava, who's the Senior Associate Director of Admissions at the Ross School of Business, where she leads diversity recruitment for the full-time MBA program. After a 6-year stint in the corporate sector, she has now transitioned into higher education. And of course, she's your go-to person, and she will also be sharing details of who from her team can you connect with if you are looking to apply to Michigan Ross School of Business. Great. I see we have crossed around 140 of you and still more coming in. But before we get started and dive into the topic, I want to run my first poll question for the evening today. So on the screen in front of you is my first poll question. What excites you most about AI and business? Is it the automation and efficiency that it brings in? Is it the better decision making through data? Is it new products and business models which are coming in? Or is it the improved customer experience which it has brought in? So very quickly on the screen in front of you, what excites you most about AI in business? I can see quite a few of you who have joined in. If you could go and answer the poll question about what excites you most about AI in business. I'm sure the answer could be all of these above. But for now, let's just take the one which you feel is most relevant and something which you find the most exciting about. So I'm going to keep this poll running for a few more minutes and wait for all of you to cast your questions. While we wait for the others to join in, quite a few people who've already gone and voted. Great, wow, we've crossed 120 people who voted for the polls. We have 160 people coming in. I'm going to quickly end the poll and share the results on the screen in front of everyone. So automation and efficiency is something which the audience today is most excited about, closely followed by the others. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in the poll. And with that, Professor, over to you for your presentation.
Perfect. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for that great introduction, and thank you all for being here. I'm really excited to be talking with you and telling you something about my research, which is about AI and strategy, and also about my teaching. Yeah, this is a course I've been teaching now on AI and strategy. So I usually teach here. I've been at the University of Michigan for 15 years. Before, I used to be at INSEAD, and before I got my PhD at Wharton. I am originally from Chile. My background is engineering, as many of you, and I've been always very interested about decision making. And the main thing going on with decision making today is that you can incorporate AI there. Decision making used to be something that only humans could do, particularly strategic decision making, but now you have AIs there. So I think that's something really exciting going on. So let me share my slides with you. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can,
Yes,
Professor.
perfect. Okay, just one second. Okay, so the goal of the presentation is to explore the different possible effects of AI on strategic decision making. That's the main thing. And to do that, I will walk you through a recent paper I published. So the paper is open access. You can download it if you want. It's called Artificial Intelligence and Strategic Decision Making, Evidence from Entrepreneurs and Investors. And after that, I will briefly describe my MBA elective on this topic. So let's get started. So the first thing to know is that AI is a discontinuity. It's not, it's something that happened very quickly, and it's during the last few years, yeah, particularly the last 3 years. Um, so there's this book by Professor Woolrich. So it's a very good history of strategy. And this book was written in the year 2020. And this is figure one in that book. It says, these are the things that AI has been able to do over time. You see, it started doing things that humans could do only, like arithmetic at the beginning, then sorting things, then playing simple board games, then playing chess, etc. And this is written in 2020. And in 2020, he says at the end, these are the last things in that list. These are the things that are nowhere near to be solved. And they say understanding a story, human level automated translation, interpreting what is going on in a photograph, writing interesting stories, interpreting a work of art, and human level general intelligence. But if you look at that list, this is mostly the things that AIs can do today. So in just these last 3 to 5 years, all of this happened. Never before a technology had progressed so quickly. So this is very important for AI. So AI so far has been, it's very important for strategic decision making. Strategic decision making has been a human domain. So only humans have done this type of decision making. And the explanation is that this is something that's very difficult. It has all of these complications, like these are very important decisions. These are every time you make strategic decision, there's a novel context, are complex decisions with many parts and many interactions. Uh, there's a lot of noisy feedback and delayed feedback. Is what has been called in the past a wicked problem. These are the hardest possible problems that you can imagine. So if you look at the progress of AI over the last few years, it seems plausible that at some point, maybe in the near future, AI will be able to make strategic decisions. So over time, the type of decisions that AI has been able to do been increasing, the sophistication of those. So at some point, it could hit strategic decision making. So AI, strategic decision making is one type of decision making. At some point, AI could make those. Large language models like ChatGPT have accelerated this timeline. I always thought that at some point AI could make strategic decisions, but with LLMs, this seems much more plausible. I think it's really surprising that this is happening because LLMs are trained to predict the next word. So they are trained on all of the text that is out there and they predict that next word. But it turns out that if you have a large enough neural net, and you have a large enough training corpus, you end up that this prediction task involves things that are very similar to understanding. And then LLMs can do cognitive tasks that are very valuable and useful for humans. So the key questions of this paper is how could AI augmented strategic decision making could look? So to imagine that possible future, what will be the role of strategists when AI can do the type of this strategic decision making that strategists do today? Another question is how effective are current AIs at making strategic decisions? And then I will talk a little bit about implications of AI in strategic decision making. So how could this may look like? So one simple way of thinking about this is that in strategy, you are always trying to do two different things. One is to generate alternatives, to think about what are the possibilities, what are the different things that you could do. And the other part, it is to evaluate those alternatives. And then in strategy, over the last 50 years or so, we have developed a lot of frameworks and tools and theories that help you to do these two things, generate alternatives, and then try to pick the best alternative out of those. Um, so today you can ask an AI to do to perform some of this analysis, to use some of these tools. So, for example, you can tell ChatGPT or any other AI, conduct a five forces analysis of a given industry. Here, as an example, I said the business school industry. And what you will get out of ChatGPT is something that's quite reasonable. Yeah, there's a lot of text there. You don't need to read it. But when you read it, and I've done this many times, you get analysis that are quite reasonable, comparable to what very good students would do. So this is another example. Yeah, you can do, for example, scenario planning. Think, okay, if this happens, what should you do? Or what are the things that may happen that could affect your strategy? You can also use AIs to do that. So, for example, describe three events that could make business schools obsolete or dramatically decrease their demand, for example. Yeah, you can do this with any industry. This is an industry we all know, so that's why I put these examples. And then again, you end up with very relevant answers. Like here, the first one is saying, hey, AI technologies. This could change how business schools operate. And then you can go further and you can say, okay, what could a business school do to adapt to these different scenarios? And again, you get things that are quite relevant. Yeah, I'm not going to go into the details. Yeah, this is just the motivation of this paper. Like when ChatGPT was launched 3 years ago, I started thinking, could this be used in strategy and how good this be? So in the first few days, I ran analysis like this. But then the real question is how good AI is at doing these things. So in the previous slides, I showed you examples of things that AI can do. But now the key question of the paper is to measure how good, how effective AI can be at doing this type of things. Um, so how to measure effectiveness of AI at generating alternatives and at evaluating alternatives. And to do that well, you need to be able to compare to the performance of humans. So what with my co-authors, we ended up devising is the idea of creating business plans and put them into business plan competitions along with real business plans and see who ranks higher, if real business plans or AI generated business plans. Okay? So the way we did this is we got business plans from a real business plan competition. And there we selected 12 business plans that had been accepted into the competition and 12 that had been rejected. So they differed in quality. And in this business plan competition, all business plans have a very standard format. There's a first part that says, this is the problem. And then there are 5 other sections describing the details of the business plan. So what we did is we removed all of the sections except the first one, this first paragraph explaining the problem that this company is trying to solve. And then we asked ChatGPT, write all the other sections of the business plan. So now we have 24 business plans that are real and 24 business plans that are their AI twins. It's a business plan that's solving the same problem, but it's completely written by an AI. So now we put all of these business plans into a business plan competition where we had human evaluators, 250 of them, who had experience in investing in startups. And we ended up measuring the quality or how these human evaluators ranked all of these business plans. So we can compare how they rank the human-generated business plans and the AI-generated business plans. The main number there is that first row, and the first one, it says 0.14. That means that humans, these evaluators, uh, thought that these business plans were 14% better than the other business plans. Yeah, there's a 14% improvement. So that's an important one. Hey, AI can, at least in this business plan competition, can generate business plans that are of a quality that's comparable and maybe a little bit higher than the quality of those generated by humans who were competing in this business plan competition. This is not the same as devising the strategy of a very large company. This is just startups competing in a one business plan competition. But still, it's very promising. So the next one, we said one part of a strategy is to generate alternatives, the other is to evaluate. So to measure the ability of AI to evaluate strategies, we used another business plan competition. And in that one, we had humans, these were venture capitalists, evaluating business plans. And each venture capitalist had to fill out a form that had 10 measures of the quality of the business plan. And then what we did is we gave ChatGPT the same rubric that the venture capitalists received, and ChatGPT had to fill out the same 10 measures of quality of that startup. And then we measure how similar were the evaluations of the venture capitalists to the evaluations of the AI. And then what we got, we can measure the correlation between these two evaluations, is that they're quite similar. So here we measure the correlation between the two, and it was 52%. So this provides evidence that maybe AIs have a similar, can evaluate things, can evaluate strategic ideas in a way that is similar to the way venture capitalists can. So I think there are multiple implications of all this, and we can talk more about that. I'll have some slides on that, and then in the Q&A we can talk more about it. So some implications. Well, LLMs, AIs, can be used to automate the typical things that we teach in strategy. and can also, in general, have a good ability or promising abilities to generate strategic ideas and to evaluate them. So it is plausible to think that at some point in the future, AIs will be used within the strategic decision-making process. I think it will expand what strategists can do. Maybe strategists will be able to come up with better strategies. I think there will be many, many, many implications. And the key thing is that all the things that we teach in strategies, all of these frameworks and tools are based on this idea that's called bounded rationality. And it's that we humans cannot think about many alternatives or can predict things very well because we have limits on our intelligence, on the information that we have, on the time that's available to us to make decisions. And it turns out that AI changes the bounds of rationality. So AI should affect how we can come up with strategies, affects all of the tasks that underlie strategic decision making. So what are those tasks? And this from another paper I wrote a few years ago, which is thinking about the cognitive processes of decision making, of strategic decision making. And there are these three main processes. One is search, the other is representation, and the other is aggregation. So search means you try things until you find the right one. Representation is you see a problem from a given perspective, and from that perspective, you come up with a solution. An aggregation is another way of making decisions where you get opinions from multiple people, and then you have to combine them, and you come up with your own decision out of that. AI can be used, can change these three cognitive processes of strategic decision making. So it makes search faster. There may be problems with this also, because if everybody is using the same AI, they will end up having very similar ideas. So there are positives, there are also some possible negatives. Can change the way in which you represent problems. So in strategy, we know that there's a lot of value that you can unlock when you see a problem from a different perspective. So for example, Merrill Lynch, the founder of the company Merrill Lynch, had this idea. How would a bank look like if it was like a supermarket? And that led to the whole business plan of Merrill Lynch, and Merrill Lynch becoming a leader in that industry. That switch, changing, thinking how a firm could look if it was in a different industry, is very difficult for humans. But for AIs, it's very easy. You just change the prompt and you get this new representation. And then aggregation can be affected because now you can have virtual crowds. You can create like virtual people that will have opinions, and you can combine those opinions with your own and with the opinions of others. AI could also be used to do some type of role play where you could simulate the opinions of others, of your consumers, of your competitors. So essentially, all of the processes of strategic decision making will be affected by AI. Some people have objections to this. They say, no, I don't believe that this will work so well. So one is that AI is a homogenizing force in the sense that everybody will have access to AI, and then AI won't provide any advantage. I don't think that this will be the case. Whenever you have a new technology, a general purpose technology like AI, all the value is about understanding how to use it, how to combine it with your own processes. Uh, what are the new opportunities that are available? Which ones are the appropriate for you to take? And then that's people. And people will be different in how they come up with these uses. So people will differ in their foresight, and companies will differ in the capabilities that they have and the resources that they have. So AI will have different effects for many firms. So I imagine that there will be a process now where the bounds of what is possible to do will increase, will expand, and then the opportunities will be captured by those who are better at seeing those opportunities and moving their companies quickly to those positions. So I don't think AI will be a homogenizing force. There will be differentiation. Some companies will take advantage of this and others won't. Another objection is that AI lacks creativity. It's like AI was trained just by looking at the past, but strategists look at the future. Then I think, well, but how did strategists learn to do strategy? By looking at the past also, by knowing cases that were written in the past, by knowing frameworks that were written in the past. So I think that we humans have the same constraint as AIs. And AI can be pushed in ways that are more forward looking. So you can use AI to emulate deliberation and thinking processes that are more likely to come up with things that we haven't seen before. AIs can search a lot. You can put many, many, many AIs, millions of AIs to search for ideas. So the ability to search and to come up with new things will be higher for AI than for humans. And then there's a lot of new research in AI trying to add other tools to AIs. And one is to add causality, not just completing the next thing, but doing things more that have to do with planning, with learning, with understanding the causal relationships. And that's probably AIs, the AIs that we have today will improve in the next few years also. So I don't think that AI lacks creativity or will lack creativity. You already see in some domains that you could say are very creative domains, like mathematics, demonstrating a new theorem, or programming. Those require creativity, and AI is doing quite well there. So some future directions. So regarding this paper, I think it's very plausible that AI will be used in strategic decision making. And that's what I try to do in my courses. I teach the core strategy course at Ross. There we try to use AI in different creative ways. And this year I started teaching a new elective that's specifically about AI and strategy, where we go so much deeper into these topics. Um, so I think it's important to get trained today, to start thinking about how AI will affect strategy, to be ready and to be the first ones to see the new opportunities. So how AI will perform will, I think, already is performing at a human comparable level when generating and evaluating strategic alternatives in business plan competitions. From there, we can improve. And then, okay. What would be some implications? I think that this is the most important thing that has happened in strategy, because strategy was always something that only humans did, and suddenly a machine can do at least part of strategy. Nothing has been such a big change in strategy in the past. So this is the most important thing. This is where I see most of the research in strategy happening in the next 10 to 20 years. Um, so I think there will be huge changes in how firms pursue intelligent action, how they search, how they represent, how they aggregate, the value that they can create, and the performance that they can achieve. So I think we live in very interesting times. It's a great time to get an MBA and then to get involved in how companies will be taking advantage and doing new things with this technology. So let me talk for 5 minutes or so, a few minutes about my AI elective. It's inspired by things in this paper that I mentioned. So one thing I mentioned is that whenever there's a new technology, there are new opportunities that happen. So the frontier of what's possible gets expanded. And then in this era of ferment where new things are possible, then the value goes to those who can see those new opportunities before others and those who know how to implement those opportunities. So what we try to do in this elective is to become good at doing these two things. Seeing opportunities, so understanding the potential of AI and how it can change different parts of businesses, not just from incumbents, but also startups. And then thinking about how to implement AI in real companies, how to make the change happen. So the goal of the course is to understand the challenges and opportunities of AI for strategic decision making, new entrants, and incumbents. These are like the big three modules of this course. And then we think in terms of many, many different things. So we have cases from all different industries, and we have a lot of guest speakers that tell us about how they are seeing the effect of AI from their own industry. So, and the other sort of principle of this course is that AI will most likely continue to change. So it's important to think about the fundamentals. So we are not only thinking about the most recent AI, but we also talk about older versions of AI, like predictive AI, machine learning, or even things that happened before that that may become important again, like search or algorithms and expert systems. Because if you understand the fundamentals, you will be in a much better place to understand things when the technology changes. This is the content, the table of contents of the course. That's all I have. So later I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor, for the wonderful presentation. As you can see, the number of questions that have sort of come in, a lot of questions for you as well. Great. Now that we've heard so much more in detail about the topic, I'm sure a lot of you have questions around the school, what does it have to offer, etc. But before we dive into that, again, I'm going to run my second poll question uh, for the evening today. So on the screen in front of you, what is your biggest concern about studying in the US? And I'm sure quite a few of you have quite a few concerns. One, of course, being cost of education and living. Is it the visa and immigration process is something which is worrying to you? Is it adjusting to a new culture? Or is it more about the job prospects available to you after graduation? So, on the screen in front of you, what is your biggest concern about studying in the US? It could be a multiple of these factors as well. But again, like I mentioned earlier, we want to know what is your topmost concern. Is it the cost of education and living? Is it the visa and immigration process? Is it simply adjusting to a new culture, or is it about the job prospects which will become available to you after graduation? So I'm going to keep the poll on for a few more minutes and wait for more of you to sort of come and post your answers. Post which, of course, we will be uh, handing over to Michelle, who's going to be talking to us more about the school and its offerings, etc. Great. I am going to now share the poll results quickly on the screen in front of you. So 51% of the audience today is more concerned about the cost of living and education, followed by visa and immigration processes, job prospects, and graduation. It's glad to see none of them are worried about adjusting to a new culture. Pretty excited about coming to the US and getting started, Michelle. So great. With that, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sabaha, and thank you, Professor Shazar, for an incredible presentation. Welcome, everyone. We are so grateful to spend this hour with you. My name is Michelle Pava, and I'm a Senior Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment for the Michigan Ross Full-Time MBA program. We are located in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I currently live, but I am actually visiting my family right now in Bogota, Colombia. So super excited to be dialing in from a different country and celebrating the holidays here. As Sabahat mentioned, I am going to spend about 10 minutes or so sharing some of our differentiators that we offer here at Ross, what makes our program unique and special in our current business landscape. And so with that, I will share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. So let's just do a quick check here. Hold on. My system is running a little slow too, Sabahat, because of the amount of attendees we have. So just bear
No
with me for a
problem.
moment.
Sure, sure, no problem.
All right.
Great, you're on.
Wonderful. Okay. So again, we are representing the Michigan Ross full-time MBA program today, which means it is a 2-year full-time program that you would partake in Ann Arbor, Michigan. There is also a 10-week internship that is offered that you will take part in between year 1 and year 2. But let's just go ahead and get started with some of our key differentiators that we offer here in our program. The first one being that we offer more opportunities for action-based learning than any other program. So what does this mean? It means that while you're in business school, you are also having the opportunity to take part in real world consulting problems with companies. Another great example is that we offer 8 student run investment funds, which is the most of any program. And they offer the opportunity for you to take part in investing in different companies, sourcing companies, doing due diligence on them, and investing in them even if you don't have any prior experience doing so. So it really allows you to build a strong business foundation as you continue in your 2 years and graduate and enter, the corporate world post MBA. We also offer 117 top ranked graduate programs. And a great thing about our program is, you can take Professor Shazar's elective as part of our AI concentration. We also have a healthcare specialization, one in design thinking and innovation. But our program is designed that the first year you would take all of the core classes, including accounting, strategy, economics, and then the second year you could choose how you would like to take your courses. So you can choose to take a specialization or a concentration, or you can work with an academic advisor to kind of choose your own adventure and decide which are the courses that you want to spend your second year taking. And some of these can be concentrations and specializations, but it's not required for you to take one. Another thing here is that 10 of your 57 credits can be taken outside of Ross, which means that we have the opportunity for you to take an interdisciplinary approach to your curriculum. If you're not familiar with our saying, go blue, go anywhere, the University of Michigan is known for having an extremely expansive alumni network. We have students that travel all over the world, and if they wear that M block that we're known for, you're always known to receive a go blue in the airport or in different areas of the world. So we're very proud of our alumni network here, as well as our responsiveness rate of our alums. So if you are someone who is looking to apply in this coming year, I would challenge you to go on LinkedIn, connect with 1 or 2 alums that are in industry that interest you, and reach out for a coffee chat in order to get that experience and to connect with our alums to understand what it's like post MBA. And last but not least, here on this screen, you'll see that 95% of our students are career changers. So I did see a lot of questions in the chat that talk about how to elevate your skill set to continue to remain relevant in the current corporate landscape. And so something that we are very proud of is that a lot of our students pursue their MBA at Ross, knowing that they want to pivot their career, whether it's an industry or a functional shift, and we are well equipped to assist you in doing so. Now let's talk about some of the things we're excited about. I'll run quickly for the sake of time so we can get to Q&A. But of course, some of our newer concentrations that we're offering are the one in ESG and our newly launched AI concentration, which was launched this year. We are also known for our Center for Entrepreneurship. So another thing about Ross that's really exciting is that you don't just go to class and go home, but you're also partaking in a lot of different clubs and centers and institutes that we offer across Ross. So one of our top ranked ones is the Zell Lurie Institute for Entrepreneurship. A lot more and more, we're seeing that a lot of our students are interested in entrepreneurship. So this is a great center to take advantage of. We also have a center for leadership called our Sanger Center for Leadership. We have one for social impact, business, which is called Business Plus Impact, and several others that span across fintech, tech in general. And so definitely encourage you to check that out. And of course, we're very known for our career services, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Now, if you've heard about Ross, something you may have heard about already is our multidisciplinary action project. If you have not, I highly encourage you to take a look. This is our specialization here at Ross. We were the first to have a project like this. And what it is, it's a 7-week hands-on consulting project that you do at the end of your first year. All of our MBAs are required to do it. It's not additional and it's embedded into your first year curriculum. So the way our MAP projects work is that you will receive a list of about 80 to 100 projects that our university has sourced for you, and you would rank them 1 through 10. And then you would get placed on one of these projects with about 5 to 6 of your peers. In the past, about 5 to 6 years, all of our students have received one of their top 3 to 5 projects. And you would work on this exclusively for the last 7 weeks of your first year before you go off on your internship. What's so exciting and attractive about our MAP project is the fact that number one, if you are a career pivoter, you are able to receive that exposure to the industry you're thinking of pivoting your career into through our MAP project before you go off on your internship. Or if you're someone that knows that you're absolutely going to do investment banking after your MBA, then maybe you can take the opportunity to do a MAP project in social impact or in a startup in order to really round out your skill sets and become a better leader. Again, go blue, go anywhere. So the great thing about pursuing your MBA in Ann Arbor, Michigan with us is that you get that 2-year experience where you're building really strong relationships with your classmates. Oftentimes, all of our classmates, they go on trips together. You go attend each other's weddings. You go to football games together. And so it really is a very, very tight-knit community. But after graduation, you'll see here on this slide that most of our students end up either on the East Coast, with 25% of our graduates on the East Coast, about 21% on the West Coast, 16% in Chicago, and then about 2 to 4% of our students go back to work internationally. And some of our top employers that you'll see here include BCG, McKinsey, Amazon, and Deloitte, just to name a few. So I absolutely encourage you to visit our student ambassador page. You can filter it for students based on their post-MBA career outcome and connect with them to understand what their recruiting journey has looked like. And then, of course, to touch a little bit on Ann Arbor, if you are here, if you're interested in Michigan Ross, it's because you are looking for a new experience. I come from a tropical climate. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, which means that moving to Ann Arbor, Michigan meant that I wanted to experience something new, like so many of our students do. And so a lot of our questions are around the different seasons or what's it like to live in a college town. And I will tell you that if you are looking for a place where you really get a chance to build those tight-knit relationships, there's really no better place in Ann Arbor for it. We have tons of different restaurants, bars. Our major airport is about 25 minutes away, which allows you to travel internationally, direct flights. And so that accessibility is there while allowing you to build that tight-knit community. And something really exciting that I love about Ann Arbor as well is that a lot of startups come out of the university because of the research that's done. And so there's a really large venture capital ecosystem and startup ecosystem that is surprisingly very vibrant and healthy in the Midwest as well. And last but not least, I will talk a little bit about our admissions process before I share a little bit about how to remain connected with us. So if you are looking to apply in round 2 or round 3, we are requiring that you submit, if you are submitting a standardized test, we are accepting the GMAT, the GRE, or new this year, we also accept the executive assessment as a standardized test. If you are not looking to submit a test and you like to submit a statement of quantitative academic readiness as well, that is our version of a test waiver. And to explain it simply, it is an essay that you would write as part of your application that explains why you are looking to waive your exam. Some examples we see of this are if you studied accounting in your undergraduate degree, if you're working in an accounting role and you have a CPA. Similar, if you have a finance background, you have a CFA. These are some of the examples we see for strong candidates who are waiving their exam. We also require 2 short answer essays. The first will ask you a little bit about your career goals and why Ross is the best place to achieve them. And the second one is going to ask a little bit about you. We still require one letter of recommendation using the GMAT common letter of recommendation, a resume, and then our interviews are by invitation only. They are 45 minutes conducted by either one of our current students or an alum and their behavior. Okay, here are deadlines. And last but not least, how can you stay connected with us? My icons are not loading. So there they are. Okay, great. So we publish an admissions blog about every month or so, talk a little bit about the tips. We have application tips, interview tips, so on and so forth. My favorite one here is to connect with a student or an alumni ambassador. We have over 380 students and alumni on our website who are all there because they want to connect with you. They opt into wanting to speak to prospective students. So make sure you go onto our page and reach out to a few of them. We also have a student-run podcast called Business Beyond Usual. And last but not least, you can learn more about our program by scanning this QR code. So that's it from me, Sabahat. I would love to turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the wonderful presentation and for all of those and all of that information. I'm sure everyone has made note of it. Of course, if there is anything more that you require, you can get in touch with us at Seed or directly connect with the university. With that, we're going to jump head on straight into the Q&A. And Professor, I'm going to bring you in first. These are two questions which I feel are around similar lines and is something which is on everyone's mind. So as AI becomes more integrated into business decision making, the question is it ultimately creating new opportunities or taking away human jobs? And when these AI driven strategies sort of go south or go wrong, where does human accountability lie in that case?
Okay, so super interesting questions. Um, I think that it all depends, for your first question about jobs, of the time frame, how long into the future we are looking at. It's very difficult to know what will happen, in the longer run. But in the medium term, I think that, well, AI for sure. There's something that's for sure. This will create a lot of new opportunities. And then people in charge of discovering and implementing those new opportunities will have more work. And that's exactly the profile of the MBAs. So I think MBAs and consultants also, and managers in charge of these implementation processes will be really busy in the next several years. And note that this is not automatic. Change doesn't happen from one year to the next. So if you think about the previous technological revolution, just AI, sorry, before AI was the internet, and ideas about e-commerce and about online newspapers and about video chat and all that, those ideas existed in the early 90s. But it took 20 or 30 years for those things to get implemented as we have them today. So I think something like that will happen with AI. So even if AI stops progressing today, and the best that we have, let's say, is GPT-5, it will take 20 or 30 years to implement that in all businesses and to exploit and to discover all the business models that this enables. And who will be in charge of doing all that? Exactly the people in this conference call today, like the future MBAs. So I think you will have a lot of work to do implementing all of this. And the other question you had was about accountability.
Accountability. That's
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. An AI is a software, is a machine, and it's not accountable for anything. It's the same. Is your Excel spreadsheet accountable for anything? Is your calculator or Word? No. So it's a tool, and whoever is using the tool is the one who's accountable. That won't change. But now you need to be much more careful because the AI can do a lot of things. And if you don't understand what the AI is doing and you accept that, you're running a big risk. So it's important to understand what is going on.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor. Anita and Prem, I hope that answers your question. Change is constant, so you have to get on with the times and roll with it. With that, Michelle, I'm going to bring you in. So we touched a little bit about the courses, we've spoken about the programs offered, but just to get an overview, are there any specialized courses or applied learning projects at Ross that allow students to sort of dive deeper into AI and its role in shaping businesses today?
Absolutely. And I think for this, the best resource would be our Business Plus Tech Institute that we have here at Ross. And so I will link the page here for all of our viewers who are interested in learning more about it. And so Business Plus Tech is one of our institutes that really allows you to get those hands-on learning in conjunction, in parallel with going to class, right? And so Professor Shazar could probably speak to maybe some of more of the action-based learnings that you may offer as part of your curriculum, but Business Plus Tech is an institute that it serves to provide students with competitions and the hand-on learning. So give me one moment to pull it up here, and I will share more about it.
Professor, would you like to add on anything to this as well?
Sorry, about action-based learning in what
Yes.
context?
In
AI.
general, or-
AI, with regards to AI specifically.
Oh, in AI. Well, there are many clubs. There are the map projects. Within map projects, many map projects today are, so these are consulting projects that for 2 months you work for a company. Many of those revolve around AI today. Another opportunity is you can also work with professors in what's called independent studies. That's a much more hands-on type of project. And different courses, will have different. So, for example, in my course, I have several activities where, for example, one was creating a startup. And what I hope is some of this will get implemented. Some of those were
Great.
very, very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's an incredible example of action-based learning in the classroom, how our professors try to integrate some of that real-world learning into the curriculum. And then I just think the Business Plus Tech Institute. And so what they do is they provide different competitions that allow you to learn some of those fundamentals. If you were interested in becoming a product manager, a technical architect, things along those lines, it will provide workshops on coding, and the fundamentals of things like AI, fintech, blockchain, and then
Right.
you would compete you would develop a product and compete for money, for prize
Okay.
money. And they also have a lot of different conferences as well. So definitely encourage everyone interested in tech generally, not just AI, but in the tech landscape, to visit this institute.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Michelle has dropped a link also in the chat window for those of you who are interested. You will definitely find more information there, which I'm sure will be sound super exciting and should be super helpful to all of you. Professor, I'm going to bring back the conversation to you. Anelia wants to know what are some of the business areas that you mentioned or that you sort of see that will take time or aren't as penetrated by the power of AI at the moment? Which of these areas do you think still require some sort of AI intervention or still have a lot more growth to see in the coming years?
I think that this is just beginning. So I imagine this can go into all industries. So people sometimes think that some industries are sort of protected from AI, and they say things that have a lot of logistics, moving things that happen in the real world. But in those industries, there's also processes, and all those processes will be able to be automated. So AI can have an effect on new business propositions that affect what the people can get, but also on the back office of companies. So how processes making things more efficient. So in every industry, you can make things more efficient. And in most industries, you can create new value propositions that will be helped by AI. So AI essentially is decreasing the cost of intelligence, like the internet decreased the cost of communication. And then what will happen is that we will be able to add intelligence to essentially any interaction. So everywhere where there's an interaction, there's something where a process could be more intelligent, a product could be more intelligent, that will happen. So this will affect all industries, would be my bet.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor. We hope that answers your question, Anil. Sky's the limit. There's a long way to go, if I may say so. Michelle, bringing you into the conversation, there is a question from someone who wants to know for applicants with non-traditional degrees or grading systems, what is the most effective way to sort of demonstrate academic equivalency and preparedness if they're looking to apply to the MBA programs at Ross? Think we have lost Michelle for a while. I'm sure she'll be back soon. So we are you're welcome, Anil. I just saw your comment. Michelle, are you back? Yes. Hi, Michelle. Did you get a chance to hear my question? Okay, I think her screen is frozen. Great. Professor, I will move on to the next question while we wait for Michelle. So, of course, with another big concern for students who are looking to kind of get into the study market now and then enter the job market is that due to the ongoing world recession, so to speak, with a lot of job cuts all over the world, etc., how should students sort of prepare while they are still in the process of applying? Number one, to make sure that they are ready to hit the job market running. What kind of, let's say, additional courses, etc., should they do? Even in terms of AI, are there any specific courses, programs, etc., that they should take on, which will help them be more prepared or more ready for the job market? Michelle, sorry, we just took the next question while we were
Yes,
waiting for you.
I'm so sorry
Yeah,
about that.
no
My
problem.
internet
No
was
problem.
bound to
No
fail,
problem.
but yes, okay.
No problem. So, Professor, if you can take that up and then we go back to Michelle.
Yeah. So these are courses to take during the MBA or before the MBA?
Both. I think both. Yeah. If you could just give us an overview of both, I'm sure that would be super helpful.
Yeah. So I think the most important, this will be different for every person. What
Right.
you want to do is you want to understand one industry very well. So the more experience you have about your main industry, the better. Because everything coming up with a strategy, what you're doing is you're thinking about details about how that company works and then how you can add value to it. So you need to know context very well. And the other thing is to know what the technology offers. So experiment, try the different LLMs, read what people are talking. There are very interesting conversations today going on LinkedIn, on Reddit, on X. There's a lot going on. You can see how people are experimenting. So learn about all that. Get your hands dirty, yeah, do stuff. And while here, take all the courses that you can. Yeah, there's so many things that are available here and there are many, many electives. So pick the things that you're the most interested about. You cannot go wrong.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor. I hope that gives you all some idea as to what you can look into and, of course, explore your passion, explore your areas, and then decide accordingly. Michelle, coming back to you before you sort of went offline, my question was for applicants with non-traditional degrees or grading systems, what is the most effective way to demonstrate academic equivalency and preparedness if they're looking to apply for the MBA programs at Ross?
Oh, absolutely. So a lot of our students come from a non-business background, and so that's the beautiful thing about pursuing an MBA, that you come here to receive those fundamentals of business. The first thing is, if you did graduate from a 3-year accredited institution, we accept that. So you would just have to submit an official record of your transcript in order for us to see that. And the second thing is, in order to really demonstrate your academic readiness, as admissions officers, we want to make sure that you will be able to handle the academic rigor of the program. So that is why a test score is important. So if you do have a business background, I would encourage you to sit for the GRE, the GMAT, or the executive assessment, and try to take opportunities in your current role that do allow you to work a little bit with more qualitative data. So, doing some analysis, perhaps managing a budget would be really helpful. And one last thing I would like to say that is separate, but I also saw this question. We do offer application fee waivers for everyone that's interested on the call. And when you start an application, you will have a question there that says, do you qualify for an application fee waiver? If you click yes and put the name of this event or any other event that you've attended, your application fee will be waived.
Great, Michelle. Thank you so much. While we are on that topic, one last question for you on this topic is most of the universities in India offer a 3-year undergrad degree. Is that something that Ross accepts for students who are looking to apply for their master's or MBA program?
Absolutely. We have to see that you graduated at the time of applying, but we are very familiar with assessing 3-year degrees.
Great.
And so that is completely acceptable.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm going to take my last question for the evening today, as we have sort of hit our time for this session. So, Professor, my last question is from Arushi, which is for you. So, in today's business environment, why should MBA students integrate AI skills into their management education? And how does this sort of impact their future role as business leaders?
So why? Because I think that AI will be part of all the tasks of a manager. So management jobs will continue to exist, but the good managers, the best managers, will be the ones who know how to use AI. So there will be managers with AI and managers without AI, and managers with AI will be 10 times or 100 times more effective than managers without AI.
Great.
Could be like being an architect and not being able to use computers and just draw things by hand. I don't know. You could be limited in the type of things that you can do.
Great. Thank you so much. Michelle, one question for you, which has not come up in the Q&A, but a lot of students do have this question in their mind. So in India, students have the opportunity to pursue an MBA from an Indian institute right after they graduate. I'm sure the process is a little different at Ross. So can you just break it down as to what exactly is it that you're looking for in an ideal MBA candidate versus a master's candidate?
Absolutely. For us, we have an average years of work experience of about 4 to 5 years. And so our MBA candidates have anywhere from, I would say the lower end is 3 years and the higher end is about 10 years. We find that you really will enrich the classroom as well as really understand why you're pursuing an MBA with getting a couple of years of professional work experience first. So I think that's a big difference with our MBA program. The second one is that it really allows you to gain those skill sets that will allow you to make a pivot or continue to grow in your career if you've hit a ceiling as a leader. And so now we're thinking more executive level skills, more of those going deeper into the business courses that you may have taken in your undergraduate degree, elevating those to work with professors like Professor Shazar, who is teaching you not just AI, but how to think strategically as a business leader using AI. And so I think those are some of the differences when you think about elevating an MBA degree, is that you're already a professional who's looking to grow even more in order to continue to go into those hopefully executive level roles.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Omana and Simran, I hope that answers your question. With that, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our wonderful audience who's been here. There were close to 100 people who were still in the room. Thank you so much for attending. I'm sure you've had an opportunity to get most of your questions answered. Of course, if you have more questions, please feel free to connect with the team at Ross or even get in touch with us at Seed Global Education, and we will be happy to guide you. Thank you so much, Professor, for your time and for this wonderful session. And Michelle, thank you for your time as well and for giving us more insights into Michigan Ross. I'm sure the students really and thoroughly enjoyed the session. So with that, have a wonderful rest of the day, both of you. To everyone in the audience, have a rest of wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you've joined in for. But thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.